think it's really great if you can take us along your journey. I know a little bit about it already, but I
Yeah.
find it very interesting for our audience to be able to learn about, okay, this is where you were on your personal social selling journey, day one, and kind of the progression you've taken along the way as well.
Sure, I'd say I was on zero when I when I joined Sociable. So, which is why I love talking about this because every time you see someone's profile with a lot of followers or a lot of engagement, and your mind just assumes like something worked out for them, or that's how it's been for them, right? And it's really not. So I think I'm a
Yeah.
great example to say I was nowhere in the picture. I had a LinkedIn profile, and that was it. I don't even think the picture I had was a professional one. I remember it was one of my friends in college who was a good photographer took a photo of me, and I put that up. So it was reasonably okay, but not great in hindsight. There was basic profile. I'd added like my basic credentials in terms of where I'd worked prior to my masters and my master's scores, all of that. But that's it. It was very to the book, right? There was
Right.
nothing personal
Right.
about it. There was nothing in the about section. There was just nothing I would do today. So that was where I started. When I joined Sociable, my first steps were very, I'd say, sales focused, if I have to be honest. So my reason to get active on LinkedIn, for example, was very sales focused. It was for two reasons. One is I was finding people to sell to, right? Like most sellers. And LinkedIn was where apparently everyone was supposed to be. So I kind of was trying to reach out to these people, find the right people, send some messages, use the in-mail, did all of that, right? So that was one part. And simultaneously, I was exposed now to the sociable platform because, of course, we practice what we preach. So I was introduced to this employee advocacy program. And if I have to just for the benefit of everyone, explain what an employee advocacy program is, right? It is basically you have a tool in place where the company uploads all their content, which means when the company is doing anything on social, be it recruitment, be it awards, or be it industry content, you make all this content available to your employees to then share to social media. So here I was introduced to this program, and I think that was my first step. So if you see company content here, of course, this is a more recent company content. I didn't go all the way back. But the idea was that was my first kind of content sharing, where I was given content on my sociable platform about what my company was doing. So whether we had released a white paper, a blog post, we had won an award, we were recruiting, those were the content pieces that were made available to me. And all I had to really do is click share, right? So that was the first thing. Slowly, what I started doing, still on the company content, I would click share, but I started like adding my voice to the caption a little bit, editing a few
Yeah.
words. We were encouraged to do that. I'm
I was
sure
gonna
you'll.
ask you. I was gonna say in that first period, did you put any caption at all?
So the good thing about the tool, right, is that the caption is suggested to
It's
you.
oh,
You do have an
okay. Yes, you have
option
the
to,
automated
yeah. So
suggestion. Okay, yeah.
exactly. So the beginning, it was just like using that suggestion.
Yeah.
But of course, we were pushed internally, again, practicing what we preach that, add your voice to it, say something different, right? It's not a copy paste. So I started doing that, and that helped. I did see that helped my engagement a little. So I'd say that was step one, just company content.
Yeah.
And then we move to all the good advocacy programs do this, and that's what we tell our clients as well. Don't just give company content, add good industry content to the content mix. And I was lucky that because my company advocated exactly this, that's what they did, right? They gave me content about what's new in employee advocacy, what's new in social selling, what's happening in digital marketing, what's happening in internal communication. So I had these kind of contents like, 3 tips to help your content strategy for advocacy. This is something I started sharing again because as step two, this was easy. It was an easy transition because again, I had ready content. I had all this industry content that was approved by my teams who were experts in the field. And all I had to do was add my take on it in a caption and share it. right? So that was I think an interesting step too. I feel like a lot of companies sometimes hesitate doing that because they feel like their only benefit is if their companies talk about them.
Mm,
But the best ones realize that you need industry content as well, and it doesn't only benefit the user, it benefits you as
right.
well. Because at the end of the day, the reason employee advocacy works so well is because organic reach is high. The moment you start spamming, it loses the reason it works. So I think a good mix of content is a good idea in terms of strategy. Um, so that was company, step one. Then there was industry. And I think then, and when I say then, it took a while, I think, to move to my native content creation phase. But we had an in between. So there was this content that was given to us, right? Industry, company. And then Sociable also has this feature where you can suggest content, right? Which means, okay, now I can start experimenting with creating content myself or finding the right industry content, but it's getting vetted by my company, by my admins. I'm suggesting it, which means I'm doing the work, but I'm getting this vote of confidence that you're doing a good job. Like this content piece is okay to share, right? So that was my in between step to native sharing. And after that is when I think, as you said, things have really accelerated over the last year and a half and 2 years. And I think that's where my native content sharing picked up as well.
Mm,
And that's when I moved to native content sharing. And I have generally two